Good evening. Tonight's top global stories include a political shock in Britain, intensified US-Iran diplomacy, a dangerous heat wave sweeping Europe, a growing Ebola outbreak in Congo, and new developments in the wars in Ukraine and the Middle East. We also have major breaking stories from India, Qatar, Australia, and the United States. Here are today's top 10 stories you need to know. A series of tornadoes has swept through the U.S. Midwest, resulting in numerous reports of severe weather and damage. As communities assess the aftermath, the focus is on recovery efforts and safety measures to prevent further destruction. The storm system has caused widespread disruption, with power outages and damaged infrastructure reported across several states. Emergency services are on high alert, responding to calls for assistance and conducting damage assessments. The National Weather Service has issued warnings, encouraging residents to remain vigilant during this severe weather event. As the situation evolves, the extent of damage and the response from local governments will play a crucial role in recovery. What can be done to improve preparedness for future severe weather events? In a major drug bust, Australian authorities have uncovered between 2.7 to 3 tons of cocaine buried in underground bunkers near Sydney. This marks the largest seizure in Australian history, unveiling a sophisticated drug trafficking operation. The drugs were reportedly hidden in a manner that indicates a high level of organization and planning. Law enforcement agencies are now focused on dismantling the network responsible for this extensive operation, which poses significant challenges in combating organized crime. The sheer scale of the seizure highlights the ongoing battle against drug trafficking in Australia, as authorities strive to keep illicit substances off the streets. As investigations continue, the implications for both public health and safety are profound. What strategies will be implemented to combat the rising tide of drug-related crime in the region? The ongoing conflict in Ukraine continues to take a heavy toll on civilians, with a recent drone strike by Russian forces resulting in the deaths of 3 family members, including a 13-year-old boy. This tragic incident highlights the indiscriminate nature of warfare and the devastating impact on non-combatants. Humanitarian organizations are raising alarms about the rising civilian casualties, urging both sides to prioritize the protection of innocent lives. The conflict has already displaced millions and created a dire humanitarian crisis in the region. As fighting persists, the need for a ceasefire and broader peace negotiations becomes increasingly urgent. The international community must address this humanitarian disaster and work towards a resolution that safeguards the rights and lives of civilians caught in the crossfire. What steps will be taken to support those affected by this ongoing crisis? Ukrainian forces have intensified their offensive operations, successfully striking key military and energy facilities within Russian territory. Recent reports confirm targeted attacks on a refinery in Moscow and a missile electronics plant in Voronezh. These strategic strikes are designed to disrupt Russia's military supply chain and cripple its economic resources, showcasing Ukraine's growing military capabilities and resolve to counter ongoing Russian aggression. Historically, such operations mark a significant escalation in the conflict, which has already resulted in heavy casualties on both sides. The potential for retaliation from Russia raises concerns about further escalation and the possibility of broader conflict, which could destabilize the region even further. Moreover, these actions may influence international support for Ukraine, as allies assess the effectiveness of Ukraine's military strategies. Looking ahead, the effectiveness of these strikes could reshape battlefield dynamics, compelling Russia to reassess its military strategy and potentially leading to a new phase in this protracted conflict. A tragic explosion at a liquefied natural gas facility in Qatar has resulted in at least 13 fatalities and numerous injuries. This incident has raised alarms about the safety protocols surrounding energy infrastructure, a vital aspect of Qatar's economy. As the investigation begins, concerns are mounting over what caused the explosion and how to prevent similar disasters in the future. The energy sector is a critical component of Qatar's economic framework, making any disruption particularly concerning for both local and international markets. In the wake of the incident, officials have promised a thorough review of safety measures across all industrial facilities. The explosion has not only had immediate humanitarian impacts, but also long-term implications for the energy market. As the situation unfolds, global energy dynamics may shift, and stakeholders are closely monitoring developments. What measures will be taken to safeguard energy facilities moving forward? A catastrophic fire has swept through a building in northern India, claiming the lives of at least 14 individuals, primarily students. The blaze erupted during the night, catching residents off guard and leading to a chaotic evacuation. Emergency services responded swiftly, but the damage was extensive, and many families are now mourning the loss of their loved ones. This tragedy highlights the ongoing issues surrounding fire safety in a country where many buildings lack adequate safety measures. Investigations are underway to determine the cause of the fire, with initial reports suggesting the possibility of electrical faults, a common hazard in densely populated areas. The local community has expressed outrage, demanding immediate action to enforce stricter safety regulations in residential buildings. The government is expected to conduct a thorough review of fire safety protocols to prevent future incidents. As families grapple with their unimaginable loss, the urgency for reform in building codes is paramount. Authorities must act decisively to ensure that similar tragedies do not occur again, prioritizing the safety of residents across the nation. The Ebola outbreak in eastern Congo has escalated dramatically, with confirmed cases surpassing 1,000 and a reported death toll of 254. This alarming public health crisis presents significant challenges for health authorities, who are racing to contain the virus's spread. The World Health Organization has mobilized resources and support for local health teams, emphasizing the importance of vaccination campaigns and community awareness programs to educate the population about the disease's transmission and prevention. However, the logistical hurdles faced in remote areas where infrastructure is often lacking complicate these critical initiatives. This situation underscores the ongoing struggle against infectious diseases in regions with fragile health systems, particularly those affected by prolonged conflict and instability. The outbreak's persistence could have severe implications for the already strained healthcare infrastructure, potentially leading to further loss of life and destabilization of communities. As health officials continue to monitor the situation closely, targeted interventions are essential. The next few weeks will be crucial in determining the effectiveness of response efforts and ultimately controlling this outbreak. A major heat wave is currently gripping Europe, with countries like France, Italy, and Spain issuing red alerts due to extreme temperatures. This sweltering heat has already been linked to multiple heat-related fatalities, prompting authorities to take drastic measures such as closing schools and advising citizens to stay indoors. The current situation underscores the increasing severity of climate-related events across the continent. Such heat waves have become more frequent due to climate change, raising concerns about public health and safety. Health officials are particularly worried about vulnerable populations, including the elderly and those with pre-existing conditions, who are at higher risk for heat-related illnesses. As temperatures soar, the impact on energy consumption and infrastructure is becoming apparent, with increased demand for electricity due to widespread use of air conditioning. The European Union has been called to action to address both immediate and long-term strategies to mitigate the effects of climate change. As summer is just beginning, many are left wondering how many more heat events will occur this season and what measures can be taken to protect the most at-risk populations effectively. Recent reports indicate that negotiations between the United States and Iran have advanced toward a potential agreement. The discussions revolve around a roadmap addressing hostilities in the region, particularly focused on the critical Strait of Hormuz. This waterway is vital for global oil transportation, as it facilitates nearly 20% of the world's oil supply, making any agreement significant not only for the involved nations, but also for international markets. For years, U.S.-Iran relations have been marked by mistrust, especially following the U.S. withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal in 2018. Stakeholders are cautiously optimistic, as both sides explore avenues for sanctions relief, which could revive Iran's economy and stabilize the region. The implications of a deal could reshape the geopolitical landscape in the Middle East, potentially easing tensions that have escalated over the past few years. However, the situation remains fluid, and observers are wary of missteps that could derail the talks. As diplomatic efforts continue, the next steps will likely involve direct dialogues aimed at building mutual trust. A successful agreement could pave the way for increased cooperation on security and trade, fundamentally altering the dynamics of U.S.-Iran relations for years to come. In a stunning political development, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has announced his resignation. This decision comes after mounting pressure from within the Labour Party, where divisions have grown over leadership and direction. Starmer, who took the helm in 2020, led the party through challenging electoral waters, including the 2021 local elections and the 2022 by-elections. He faced criticism for not capitalizing on opportunities to challenge the current government, particularly during economic crises and policy missteps. His resignation signals a major shift in British politics, leaving many to speculate on who will succeed him as party leader. Potential successors include prominent figures within the party, such as Angela Rayner and Ed Miliband, who may offer different visions for Labour's future. This political upheaval raises urgent questions about the stability of the Labour Party, especially in the lead-up to the next general election scheduled for 2024. As the party grapples with this change, the impact on national policy and public sentiment will be significant. The Labour Party must now navigate this transition effectively to maintain its position as a viable opposition. With a new leader, the party will need to unify its factions and clarify its stance on key issues. This pivotal moment could reshape Labour's electoral strategy and influence the future of UK politics. Thank you for tuning in. Which story shocked you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.